especially them, what could be the output in terms of objects or visual objects. You designed a lot already for Kaunas 2022, good ones. A lot of good work has been done, but there might be more to be done, and especially on on objects, on things that connect sustainably in the long term. People who live, people who work, people who look at from outside and live here at those modernist buildings, and people who will come from outside, and there will be more and more and more from 2022 to visit it and to support this interpretation work with artifacts, not merchandising. Artifacts and quality things that connect, that make sense.
Can be projects of editions, and then what is even more interesting is the combination of local creativity and this history and particular art crafts.
Or individuals.
High and low.
Yes.
And that's the democratization.
I would just assign to kind of note what you were saying, because I think a very important part that shouldn't be missing these processes nowadays is to be able to create an emotional connection with people.
Yes.
You know, if people don't feel emotionally involved, then you can talk about formalities and this is beautiful, or this is like this, or like that, or let's make this, or let's make that. But people need to feel an emotional engagement to it. It has to feel personal. So I think that's a very.
All of you were talking about, engagement of the locals, the local identity, local signs, local elements, like something which is like very, small in scale. But when we talk about the interpretation process and when we speak about international audience, how it is important, and maybe it is important, if it is important, and how we should give this, international background and make it readable for international audience when speaking about the local things. Because this, local versus international, talking about the interpretation of modernism is very relevant for me. So maybe we can share some, thoughts.
Maybe that's something for the local mentality to decide if they're open or not with that. I don't know, I mean, that's the longest part.
I have an opinion regarding that, because now we're talking about connecting between modernism, or a movement that has scientific or artistic base, and we've got the community in a sense. And one thing that grabbed my attention was through your presentations about the pop culture. I feel like as most artists, we always try to dismiss the pop culture because it's crap art in a sense, or it doesn't have the artistic quality in it. But because I feel like the idea of relating community to art is something that in my background or country it's not a common thing, but I feel like there are some means of creating these connections, and pop culture is one of those. And if we try to connect through those ideas, and we are all connected, and now we have people from different backgrounds, we're all connected to America somehow. So how can we try to shift that connection into something that is from Kaunas? So there is this whole idea of the power of the media, the power of fashion, and we showed from the Vogue magazines and so on. So I felt like I think that the pop culture is a very important, vital role in communicating through the community, even though as most people with value who know how to value art, they know that this is not the best way or the best form of art.
But that's really dismissive to think that, because it's actually a Trojan horse.
Culture
is a Trojan horse
I totally agree with that.
Ultimately, like all the strategies of artistic production. I loved those presentations of Vogue because it brought it to every single home.
And also it's particular because we explain that Vogue in Poland it's very recent, it's less than 2 years. So this Vogue is very political. It's not like a Parisian French Vogue. It's you have the modern part of Poland which is working for this Vogue, and it's very engaged. And the fact that such an engaged intellectual is an intellectual Vogue, comparing to decided to choose PKM as a symbol of this modern Poland is very emblematic. It shows how even intellectuals all linked to this PKM. It's popular, but it means something.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so
yeah,
this is
no,
what-
of course, no,
but this,
yeah.
no, but I wanted to explain that this specific cover was, has a particular sense in the case of Poland.
And what we tend to tag as popular culture, which I prefer to tell vernacular, but at some point it becomes pop culture when it's present everywhere, when it's part of the visual grammar of the place, when it's something easily recognizable by a majority of the population, then it's pop culture in the good sense. But it's a result of a process, again, a process where good artists were involved, good, in this case good visual artists, but where